3-57. I've already drawn a little table to fill in. I'll write the number. So we want to fill in this xy table for y equals negative x plus 3. And then we want to plot those points on a graph, label, have a scale. We'll have the top row of this table be for x, and the bottom will be for y. Now it doesn't tell us what values we should use for x, but it does want us to use negative and positive values for x, as well as 0. So some good values could just be some numbers around 0. So start with -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So these are just some good numbers that will hopefully give us an idea of what the graph will look like, but you don't have to use these exact numbers. Alright, so let's write down what the rule is. It's y equals negative x plus 3. So maybe we should, and then we want to plug in these values up here into this equation to get the values for y. So maybe we should start with this -3. So if we plug in a -3 for x, it's going to look a bit like this. Now this is a -3. So you can think of when you pull this 3 out, you're going to have to flip it from a -3 to a +3. That's again because you have the two negatives there. So it's going to become 3 plus 3, which is going to equal 6. Let's do y equals 6. And do a couple more together. So -2 here, if we plug that in, again for negative x plus 3, you're going to get -2 plus 3. And these two negatives are going to cancel out, and we're just going to get 2 plus 3. And that's just going to equal 5. If we do it again for the -1, a -1 is going to be +1, plus 3 will be 4. And if we do the 0, let's write that one out again. So it's going to be -x plus 3. That's going to be -0 plus 3. And that's just going to equal 0 plus 3, which will equal 3. So the -0 is still just 0. So we'll end up with 3. Now -1 plus 3 is going to be the same thing as taking 1 away from 3. So that's going to be 2. And -2 plus 3 is going to be 1. And a -3 plus 3 will be 0. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is we want to graph this. So you want to just note that the x values go between -3 and 3. And the y values, the biggest one's 6, and the smallest is 0. So you want to make sure that you can fit all these values on your graph. If you want to get some graph paper, here's mine right here. So remember, we want to make sure that the x, which will be this horizontal line, is the x-axis. We want to make sure it can fit -3 to +3, so we can go 1, 2, 3, and this can be -3 right here. You can see that, and then over here, go 1, 2, 3, and this can be our +3. So this will be -1, -2, -3. I'm just not going to write out all the numbers. And then on the y, let's make it so we can see both the table and the graph, like that. So y, we want to be able to get up to 6. So let's make sure we can fit it on this graph. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we should be able to fit all the values on this graph by making each square equal to 1. So let's write something down. Maybe put a 2 here, a 4, and a 6. And you could write all the numbers in. I'm just not going to be doing that. And then don't forget to label this as the y-axis, the vertical one. And then all we have to do is plot these points. So we have a -3 and a 6. So it's -3 on the x. And then we go up to 6. A little point there. Next one's going to be -2, 5. So go back 2, go up to 5. We're going to have -1, 4. Unfortunately, he's going to cover up the 4 that we wrote here, but that's okay. 0 goes to 3, which will be right here. Can't really see that point, but just remember it's there. Then 1 goes to 2, so go across 1, up 2. And you might be able to start seeing where these points are going. 2 is going to go to 1, so 1, 2, 1. And 3 will go to 0, so 1, 2, 3, 0. And now all we have to do is draw a line connecting them. So you might want to use a ruler for this, or you can just kind of, because I don't have a ruler right now, I'm just going to try my best to draw a straight line between all those points. And so we see we have this straight line, which is going down as it goes along.